My name is Angela Lansbury, and this is my latest book, Jewish Travel Tales and Guidebook. It goes A to Z, from Albania to Zimbabwe. Obviously the biggest places with large numbers of Jews are going to be New York, Poland, well, not alive now, but the major sites are in Poland, like Auschwitz, associated with Anne Frank. Germany, associated with Anne Frank again, Belsen, which is where she died. Poland is just a place I always avoided going to, but it features largely in this book. Now, I started writing about online a long time ago in my travel websites about the places I'd already been to, such as, and I go for people, for houses of famous people. For example, in Israel I went to the house of Bialik, who introduced Hebrew as the national language. As a matter of fact, I'm not in favour of this idea, because my background on my father's grandfather's side, my father's grandfather's mother spoke Yiddish. And in fact, a large number of people, if you go to a genealogical society and you think, oh, I'll meet a lot of Jewish people researching their ancestors, in fact, large numbers of them are not Jewish people at all. They're people who've just discovered that their grandparent or great-grandparent or great-great-grandparent was Jewish. And of course, in the era when people came across and they were fleeing, they were hiding the fact that they were Jewish. So large numbers of them married non-Jewish people. So a lot of people, if you go back, you've got 2 parents, 4 grandparents, 8 great-grandparents, and 16 great-great-grandparents. What are the chances that one of them, if you were in one of the port cities, London, Hull, had come across on a boat and were either Jewish themselves or married somebody who was Jewish, and then disappeared from being Jewish, and now we've got a whole generation of people who are looking to find their ancestors. And the exciting thing is, I started talking about Anne Frank on a Jewish radio programme, and they said, can you come back next week? I thought I'd run out of things to say on Jews. In fact, there's something Jewish in virtually every country. Let's take Albania. I thought, Albania, won't be anything Jewish there. Sure enough, there's something Jewish there. Well, I thought, there won't be anything to interest people who are not Jewish. There is! Absolutely fascinating if you happen to be a Muslim. 2 major stories. One major story was a recent one, World War II. If you go onto the Yad Vashem site, there is a Jewish man who was saved by a Muslim. The Muslim had a property, and I'm not sure if they were Nazis or who they were, but anyway, they had a prisoner, and they brought the prisoner along, and the prisoner was probably going to be executed. And what happened was the Albanian Muslim man realised what was going to happen, and he gave a melon to the Jewish man for lunch, and inside the melon was a message, and it said, run up the hill and hide under the tree until we find you. And he then got the people, the guards, drunk, and the prisoner ran off, and finally the drunken guards recovered enough to say, let's go, and couldn't find the prisoner. They were very angry, and they suspected that their host had helped the prisoner escape, and they held a gun to his head 4 times and threatened to kill him and or his family. But he said he didn't know anything. Of course he didn't know. And after they had gone, he rescued the man, and many years later this man and people associated with him had the Muslim instated as a place of honour on Yad Vashem. You can read about it on the website. You don't have to go to Israel to Yad Vashem. They have a wonderful website. It is full of heartwarming stories and amazing things. And the other heartwarming thing was this man said he hadn't done it just once to Jewish people. He was living in a crossroads city with wars and armies coming and going, and he had saved other people, other races and other religions, but he said that the Jewish people were the only people who thanked him and honoured him for what he had done. And I thought that was a nice story as well. If you want to read more stories, and I have got loads of pictures, I'm afraid this is so jam-packed, it's 9 point, but I'm going to reprint it bigger. I've only got about 100 copies of this first edition, and if you've got a magnifying glass or you want a special edition, come and get this one. Later on there'll be another edition with even more stories and more pictures, and you can read about some of this on my website. Enjoy Jewish Travel Tales and Guidebook by Angela Lansbury.
Website.
My website, web.me.com, Anna London 8, or type in Angela Lansbury poet. There is an Angela Lansbury actress, of course, so in order to find me, and she will probably pop up first because she is slightly more famous than I am. She does wonderful publicity for my name, but she does get in first. So if you want me, try and type in speeches or author or poet, as well as Angela Lansbury. Of course, now you've seen me on this video, you'll recognise my picture and you'll be able to find it. I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Facebook, I'm all over the place. And eventually, if you look hard enough, you will find me. Angela Lansbury.